Excitement is in the air, according to President Trump. Sharing a warm handshake with his Singapore host, there was no sign of a last-minute scramble for a summit deal. There was even a premature celebration of another important date this week. Mr. Trump's birthday is on Thursday, and he's starting things early. But just a few miles away, 11th-hour negotiations with Pyongyang's foreign minister were still underway.
These officials from the US and North Korea are meeting here to try to finalise the details of a deal to hand to the two leaders tomorrow. This is not how summits normally work. Normally these kinds of things are already down on paper. But this is shaping up to be an unconventional summit between two unconventional leaders.
The US Secretary of State said this was not a concern, and the goal of completely disarming North Korea remains.
President Trump is going into this meeting with confidence, a positive attitude, and eagerness for real progress. He has made it clear that if Kim Jong-un denuclearizes, there is a brighter future for North Korea. Tomorrow, we will get our clearest indication to date of whether Chairman Kim Jong-un truly shares this vision.
I think we have a good chance of having some kind of good start, a basic agreement of sorts. Of course, it will not be an occasion where all problems get solved tomorrow, 12th of June. But I think I'm cautiously optimistic that we will get some kind of baseline agreement tomorrow.
In Pyongyang, the North Korean people have finally been told the summit is happening. A special broadcast by the famous Ri Chun-hee informed them Chairman Kim was abroad. There was also a clear shift in tone. State-run media discussed developing a new relationship with the United States, a hint of a new era of engagement. Kim Jong-un's only appearance was yesterday. He will feel he's come to Singapore in a position of strength as a nuclear power, but he may be willing to bargain, according to those who've met both men.
Both are supremely confident. Both are hopeful. I think at an emotional level, both of them want something significant out of this summit.
The sweeping sands of Sentosa now await the two leaders. Once associated with pirates, death and bloodshed, this resort has been rebranded as a tranquil haven. How it's described in the future could depend on what happens here in the next 24 hours. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Singapore.
Well, in the last hour, we've had some clarification from the White House about the timings tomorrow. We understand it will now only be a one-day summit, so both Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un will leave Singapore tomorrow night. In fact, there are reports in 3 South Korean newspapers that Kim Jong-un will leave as early as 2 o'clock tomorrow, which would leave them only 5 hours for the summit, which tells you a little bit about the fact that this is only going to be about the personal relationship and the photo opportunity, and the rest of it will be left to the lower level teams. Separate to that, we've had some information that Kim Jong-un is on a walkabout around Singapore this evening. We will show you some of those pictures as we hook in with Mariko Oy, who is outside Kim Jong-un's hotel, the St. Regis, in the centre of the island. And Mariko, these pictures have come to us in the last 10 minutes. This is Kim Jong-un's motorcade, his stretch limo on its way through Singapore, taking in some of the sights, we think.
Yes, Christian, there have been some of the cars and taxis waiting outside St. Regis Hotel for about 20-30 minutes now, and we have been trying to confirm whether he has left, but it seems like there are a lot of flash photography going on, and it seems like they just are leaving St. Regis Hotel where he is staying. This is in the central Orchard district of Singapore. This is a very famous and popular shopping district here in Singapore, and we understand that he's going to areas like Marina Bay Sands, Gardens by the Bay, all the iconic buildings and tourist spots that I think you can see behind you where you are, Christian. We're told by our team in the Marina Bay Sands area that there's very heavy police security, so who knows where he's going, but we are definitely trying to follow his move.
Yes, I wonder if he's going to eat in any of the fine restaurants in Singapore. If I had known Mariko, I could have given him 1 or 2 recommendations. Anyway, he probably isn't going to eat out, because I understand that they've actually brought food for him from North Korea, and their own chef, and also a loo. What's that all about?
I know. We saw those reports, and I think it's fair to say that some of our Singaporean colleagues and friends are rather offended because they are very, very proud of local Singaporean food here. But as you say, there were reports that he brought his own food and the toilet. I was actually reading about it, thinking if he is really going on a night tour, what's actually happening in there? There were reports that he has one in his own Mercedes-Benz, but there were other cars waiting as well. So that's a bit of too much detailed information possibly for some of our viewers, but his own food and his own toilet.
Okay, Mariko, for the moment, thank you very much. So Kim Jong-un wandering around Singapore this evening, and it's a perfect night to go out. It's a lovely climate here, and if we get more pictures of him, of course, we will bring them to you. And why not? Because, of course, this is the furthest that he has been, aside from China, since he became the leader. He was educated in Switzerland, but, of course, he leads a very sheltered life in North Korea, so perhaps no surprise that he's taking the opportunity to go out and have a look at downtown Singapore. You're watching BBC News.